What up, guys? Kevin here. So I just beat a game that took me 3 years to complete. 3 years. Three. I started in May of 2020, and I've been waiting for it to come to console. But over the past month, I've kind of dived all in on PC gaming, and with the fact that this game ain't going to come to consoles until I beat it. That's just how the world works. We're talking about Trails in the Sky, FC, first chapter, from Nihon Falcon. Wow. Ever beat a game and you need to go take a walk? I just did that. I was actually going to record outside at the park. Then I looked to the left of me and there's like a huge spider. I'm like, I don't feel like getting bit. So I'm like, I got to walk back home and do this review. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. Spoilers. I'm going to probably talk about spoilers. Might be kind of a hard review to do just because it took me 3 years to beat, but I think one of the reasons why I love it, it feels like the most contained, easy to follow, not a bajillion characters, though they do introduce quite a bit. Trails game that I played. It is the coziest Trails game I've ever played. It's a game that I really want to jump into second chapter. And shout out to subscriber and YouTuber extraordinaire Kevin Street. Inspired me a little to get back into it. He just beat it. He's on to second chapter. I'm like, I can't. Don't show me the screenshots. I kid. I don't mind being spoiled. I kind of know what goes on through the Trail series since I've been a longtime fan since the games came out on Vita. Well, Cold Steel on Vita. I've always had my eye on the games until 2019. They brought them to PS4, played them, and here I am with first chapter, the very first game, the game that people tell you you need to start at. You absolutely need to start with first chapter. And I will say this. If you had to start somewhere, and if you can, absolutely. First chapter. I did not feel like first chapter was a game of its time. I didn't feel like I had to, put myself in. When did this game come out? Like 2004? It came out a long time ago. But it did not feel dated at all. At all. The combat felt very complex enough. I love the world, so it feels very contained. It just feels good playing the Trails game that's very contained. I would say the Crossbells games are very contained as well, too. Look, the Cold Steel games, they go crazy. They go crazy, especially 4. But I would say just start somewhere. If you want to start at the Cold Steel, start at Cold Steel 1. Start at Trails from 0. If you can, start with first chapter. If you're watching this video, you're probably, I played them all already. Douchebag, get to it, Kevin. What's keeping you from playing the second, the third, and Azure? Those are the few I need to complete. But I'm going to try to hold off until Reverie. However, Trails likes to end on a cliffhanger. And gee golly, Willikers does FC end. I don't think the craziest cliffhanger. I think Cold Steel 1 to me was just the craziest. Just Reen just being abducted by Valimar, leaving his classmates behind, and that's it. Wait till the second game. That was pretty intense. You can't leave him with Crow. What are you thinking? But no, it ends with a kiss. So, Estelle, we got to talk about the characters. Estelle, Bright, just one of the funnest protagonists. I'm not going to say funnest girl protagonist, just fun protagonists. Along with Joshua. He's a little more on the straight and narrow. But, he's a little too cool for school. He has a little bit of mystery, which you find out at the end. Then again, I knew it. I had an idea of what was going to happen. But just watching it unfold, I'm like, wow. Wow. Because even throughout the game, I'm like, well, I was like, all right, they're introducing a lot of things that I've played in later Trails games. Well, what about Earl Burrows? Ooh, they come in. They come into play. Just great. The music in first chapter is the best. The best. I love first chapter music, even though, I think maybe there's, three or four the same tracks over and over again. It's the best. It's the coziest. When I hear it, I just, it's like a Christmas story to me. Just, that song on Christmas. That feels good. When I hear that harmonica play, something light, I forgot what it's called. It gets me. I just melt. I just become mellow. I love it. And it's the same formula throughout the whole series. I guess it's the first chapter, so this is where it all started. You are Estelle, Bright, or Josh. You meet people along the way, people that do show up in later games, and it's pretty cool. I'm like, oh, damn, that's where you came from, the very first game here? Awesome. I really want to go back and play Trails of Cold Steel 3, because the beginning with Tita and Agate. I thought their relationship, I'm like, that's a little weird relationship. But now, having played this game, see, it works both ways, guys. I know people are like, no, you got to start with 1 and go all the way through chronological. No, it's fun to go back. It's fun to see the characters in later games and go back. I'm like, oh, wow, this is where it came from. See, it's fun that way too. But yeah, you're Estelle and Joshua. Joshua is found by your dad, or spoiler alert, Josh tried to kill Estelle's dad, but he's like some super bracer, Cassius Bright, and he uses a staff. He uses a bow staff because he doesn't want to kill, and that's why Estelle. He trained Estelle to use the staff as well. Love it. But he brings Joshua home, who is, what do you call what Joshua has? Oh yeah, amnesia. He has amnesia. But then he just settles into the big brother. Is it big brother, little brother? Same age? I think they're the same age. To Estelle. A little bit of Joe Dirt action there. You're my sister. But they're not blood related, so I guess that's okay. Still a little weird. Japan, I don't know. I'll allow it, If I'm, in my teens, and my dad brings home, I don't know, some hot chick, I'll be like, yeah, we're not blood related. We're going to have that conversation, I'm going to come out the shower, probably going to drop the towel and be like, oh, hey, sister. I mean, that's my wiener. Okay, what the fuck? All right. All right, if I'm not demonetized by now. But no, they become bracers. You go town to town, taking on tasks, and story unfolds from there. It starts out very simple, then things get a little crazy, and then Josh finds out who he really is, and I was going to say something. Date ape, and knocks out Estelle. Doesn't do anything to her. And then he goes on his merry way, and the game ends. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? What the hell, Trails? Come on. Don't do this to me again. This game took me 75 hours to beat. 75 hours. I like to take my time with Trails, especially if it takes me 3 years. 3 years. It's just great. I don't know what else to say. Combat is very, very good. Very good. The animations, top notch. Shara and Prince Oliver. I remember Prince Oliver, you play through the Cold Steel games. If you just play the Cold Steel games, Prince Oliver, the douchebag, I thought he was a douchebag. like the first game, then towards the later part of the games, especially the fourth game, you're like, all right, he's a bro. And then when you go back, again, you guys can go back too. You can start forward and go back and see the debaucherous Prince. And he's just that character. Just the sweet horn dog dude who just takes his little ukulele guitar and just hooks up with Shara. And we know what happens with those two, but it's just good to see their origin story. It's an origin story for a lot of people. I loved it. Score-wise, yeah, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 5 stars out of 5 stars, 2 thumbs up out of 2 thumbs up. It's good. It's really good. And now that I beat it, I think they're now going to announce it for consoles. I think they're waiting for me to beat it. They're like, all right, Kevin beat it. We saw that achievement pop. I think they are. I mean, Nihon Falcom announced all these Trails games that are just now coming out. We're at the finish line of all those Trails games that they announced a couple years ago. I think they're going to announce some more. I think they're going to announce Ys 10. And then I think they'll do the Trails in the Sky series. And then we'll finally get the Kiro no Kiseki games. I think, I don't see why not. It'll be interesting. I think these games are already on the Switch. And I think maybe PlayStation in Japan. So, yeah, I mean, I think they're good to go. Just got to localize them. Speaking of localization, Super Derek did an awesome review, or awesome interview, I should say, with some localizer of the Trails games. And wow, she was just going into like the origin story of the chess. I love the chess. Like you pick up an item and you go back and you read it, and each of them have like a really cheesy, corny message, but it's fun. It just makes it fun. And she was saying how Nihon Falcom really wasn't on board with that, but they did it anyway. Yeah, great game. Great game. I don't know what else to say. Want to go into 2, but man, I don't think I can go into 2 and then go into Reverie. That's a lot of Trails. But I'll see. I still got Final Fantasy 14 to beat. I'm getting close to that. I'm getting so close to that. Great game. Yeah. Here's where you start with Trails. If you can, FC, Sky FC. Then if you don't want to do that, then do Trails from Zero. And then if you don't want to do that, start with Cold Steel 1. Some would say even Cold Steel 3, but start with 1 there. There you have it. I'm done. Great. Just, I can't rank it, but it's definitely the coziest, chillest. Still difficult. There's some difficulty spikes. One issue I had, though, I didn't like if you failed a fight or died in a fight and you retried, it would just make it easier. And I wasn't good at saving my game, so I was like, that sucks. They did fix it in later games where it allows you to like retry or lower the difficulty. That was a little annoying. Yeah, some crazy difficulty. That last boss, I'm like, yo, chill. It's good to see the origin of the super long last dungeon. Every Trails game, I'm like, all right, it's the first game. It's FC. I don't think it's going to be that long. Holy shit. Trails and your long-ass last dungeons. They just have no chill with them. And it's all the same. It's just a ton of enemies that give a ton of experience because they're probably not up to snuff. Nice to see where that all began. Oh, those chests. I'm like, oh, I know there's something. There's a weapon for Joshua I need there. And oh man. There you have it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching though. I'll talk to you later.